Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my YouTube channel, you should know that here I'm talking about voice over IP systems with focus on open source solutions such as Camelio, Asterisk, FreeSwitch, etc. But here today I'm talking about Zabbix, an open source monitoring solution that I can say is perfect for monitoring your VoIP infrastructure and VoIP network. Zabbix can help you to monitor the general metrics of your systems. For example, you have installed your Asterisk in a virtual machine or a bare metal server, and you want to monitor the general metrics such as disk usage, such as CPU usage, or even the load of the systems. Zabbix can help you to monitor these general items. Also, it can help you to monitor the application related metrics. For example, I have Asterisk and I want to know how many channels are active in my channels, and if the active channels hit a threshold, then I want to have an alert. So Zabbix can deeply go into the application level and get the metrics and help you to monitor your telephony system effectively. So let's start and see what we will cover today in this video. I will start with a Zabbix server installation review. I won't go into the step-by-step installation process because I believe it has a very straightforward installation, and also the Zabbix website has plenty of good videos that you can go and select based on the operating system that you want to install your Zabbix server. Of course, I will review and I will tell you, okay, where to look at and how to install it. But it's really very straightforward. It doesn't need a step-by-step installation, I believe. But if you have any questions during the installation, then you can put in the comments and I will answer them. Then I will go for the Zabbix agent installation on my Asterisk box. So in this video, I prepare the Asterisk system, and I will install the Zabbix agent on my Asterisk Linux operating system to monitor the general metrics of my virtual machine. Metrics such as disk usage, CPU usage, load, RAM, etc. Then we will configure our Asterisk, because the next step is that we want to use Zabbix monitoring system to monitor my Asterisk metrics. Metrics such as, for example, Asterisk uptime, or if my Asterisk process is running or not, or for example, how many channels do I have right now, and for example, how many PJSIP endpoints do I have. So in order to do that, and in order to give Zabbix to monitor my Asterisk server, I need to configure my Asterisk, add an AMI or Asterisk Manager interface user, enable its embedded HTTP server, and then set the firewall, etc. So in this step, we will cover fully about how we can configure our Asterisk system. And then the last step is that we are adding our Asterisk box when it is ready, because in the previous steps we have installed the Zabbix agent and we have configured our Asterisk. Then I will add my Asterisk host to my Zabbix monitoring system, and I will show you what are the steps in the Zabbix GUI to add your Asterisk systems. All the steps that I'm covering here are in my GitHub. I try to put it a step-by-step document there. Also, in this repo, my GitHub VoIP monitoring, I have other VoIP monitoring solutions. For example, VoIP monitor package, or even how to monitor Zabbix. For example, how to install your FreeBX box using Zabbix. It's mostly the same because the FreeBX is using the Asterisk as well. But if you take a look, or if you have a FreeBX system, then you can take a look at my GitHub VoIP-Monitoring Repo as well. So let's start our journey by reviewing the Zabbix server installation process. I have documented this process in my GitHub page, but I highly recommend you to check the Zabbix server installation on its official website. It has a very step-by-step document based on the operating system and the database and the web server that you want to use for this monitoring system. So for example, here I'm using Zabbix version 6.4. I'm using Debian and Debian 12. And also I'm using MySQL database and I want to use Apache web server. Then you can see it will give you exactly how to add the repository for Debian 12 and how to install the Zabbix server, install and the agent, how to create the database, etc. You just need to know that this documentation assumes that you have already installed your database server, MySQL or PostgreSQL, based on what you prefer, and also your web server, Apache or Nginx. So that's the only assumptions that you have here. So for the ones who are not maybe very familiar for this process, then I have documented here. Also, this is document for myself as well. When I want to install myself, I can refer to the same documentation later as well. So here, if you are using Debian 12, then you can follow this process. I'm using DigitalOcean cloud provider here, but it really doesn't matter. If you are using any other provider like AWS, I don't know, Azure, or even if you want to install on your bare metal server, the process is the same. So for Debian 12, first I need to set the locale of the system. So I use you can use this dp kg configure locales to set the locale. Then I will install the database. Here I'm using MariaDB. Actually, it's exactly like the MySQL. And then I secured my MariaDB installation. So I won't go into the details. So you can use the commands, and then it's very straightforward. You can see what the MySQL secure installation will ask you. It will ask you if you want to set the password. You can set yes, and then set the password, and then secure your database installation. So this is about the database installation. Then we can go for the Zabbix installation, and the Zabbix installation, these steps are exactly the same steps that I have here for Debian 12. I just copied there. So always try to refer back to the official website and check it. So here we are installing Zabbix and repo, because when you want to install the Zabbix front end or Zabbix Apache, so it's installing Apache. You don't need to install Apache, as we have not installed here as well. So it will install the repository, because when you want to install these Zabbix related packages, you need this repository so that you can install these packages. So first get the repo, install the repo, update your system, and install the required packages as per official documentation. Then you need to import the Zabbix server DB schema. For that one, you can use the MySQL u root-p, then connect your database, and actually you need to create a Zabbix database, create a user. Here I created user Zabbix with the password. You can, of course, you have to change this username and password to make it secure, and then grant the privileges to this user so that it can create and import the Zabbix database. Then we are quitting from our MySQL console, and we are using Zcat to import the database schema for the Zabbix. When you enter this command, it will ask you for the password. Enter the password that you have set here. If you didn't change this, then the password is password. If you have changed this password when you are running this command, then you need to enter the password that you have entered here. Then in the last step, you need to disable the logbin trust function. This is something that is needed by Zabbix. So just connect your database as root. This root password is the password that you have set when you run this MariaDB secure installation, because here it will ask you what is the root password, or do you want to set a root password. If you have set a password, then when you want to connect, then you need to enter that password and set this function in your database. And in your Zabbix server, you need to edit this file, etc Zabbix, Zabbix_server.conf. and then it has a DB password for Zabbix user. By default, if you search, for example, DB user, you will find that it is Zabbix. So because we didn't change our username, we can still use the Zabbix. We don't need to change that. But the DB password, you need to set the same password as here. So if you have changed this password, then change that password to whatever you have set there as well. So you just need to change this password. That's the only configuration that you need. And then you need to start and enable the Zabbix server, Zabbix agent, and web server. Here we are starting the service Zabbix server. We are starting Zabbix agent. Zabbix agent is actually to monitor the Zabbix VM itself, because Zabbix server can monitor itself as well. So that's why we need Zabbix agent. And Apache Do is our web server that the Zabbix server is using, because we will have a UI that we will use that one for configuration. After you have done this step, you just need to open your Zabbix UI, and the default username is Zabbix with capital Z, and the password is, the default username is admin, with capital A, and the default password is Zabbix. So you can log in with admin and Zabbix. Of course, when you are entering this URL, it will ask you some questions about what is your database password. It's the installation wizard. It's very straightforward. You just need to click next, and in one step you need to enter your database password. And after you have set up via web, then you can access to the Zabbix web panel, and your server is ready. There are plenty of good videos in the YouTube. If you are using any other distro in the Linux, or if this review is not enough for you, just search Zabbix installation. I'm sure you will find a lot of good documentation on how to install Zabbix easily on your operating system. Okay, great. Now we have our Zabbix server installed and ready, and we want to use Zabbix agent to monitor the general metrics of our system. In order to install the Zabbix agent, it has very straightforward installation as well. We just need to add Zabbix repo into our Asterisk box. So here for this lab, I created two systems. One of them is Asterisk, one of them is Zabbix. I will destroy them after this video, so don't worry, you can't access them later. But okay, we have two hosts here, Asterisk and Zabbix. So I want to install Zabbix agent on my Asterisk box. What I need to do is to install the repo for the Zabbix. This time we just install we have installed the Zabbix repo here. We just need to install Zabbix agent because it's just for the monitoring. We don't want to install Zabbix server here in our Asterisk box, right? So just install the Zabbix agent, and then we need to configure our Zabbix agent and allow our Zabbix server IP address. If you check here, my Zabbix server is this IP address with 220 at the end. And in my configuration, I have added my Zabbix server. So here I want to show you, this is my Asterisk box. I have already installed this agent. So just run these commands and you will have that agent installed. And then let's see the configuration. Vim etc Zabbix agent d.conf. You can install Vim or Nano or any other editor that you are okay with. And as you can see here, we have our server. This is the IP address of our Zabbix server. Also, the other option that we need to set is the server active. So this is another option. And also we need to set a host name for this agent. So here I have named it as *server01. Okay, you can set whatever you want based on your naming convention, right? So here, this is my first Asterisk server, so I put a host name as *server-01. For the next one, I will put 02, etc. So that's the configuration of our Zabbix agent. And finally, we need to enable and start our Zabbix agent. So just run systemctl enable Zabbix agent and systemctl start Zabbix agent. Then you will have the Zabbix agent enabled and started. Okay, now that we have our Zabbix server installed and also Zabbix agent installed in our Asterisk system, it's time for the Asterisk configuration. What we want to do here is to add an AMI user or Asterisk Manager interface user so that Zabbix can connect through this management interface and get the metrics that we want. In order to do that, in your Asterisk configuration, you need to edit the file etc*-manager.conf and enable and web enable your manager access. The default port is 5038, and also the bind address by default is listening to all IP addresses. If you have multiple public IP address, then you can change this to the public IP address that you want, but the default should work for you. Then at the end of the file, you can create a AMI. You can create an AMI user. So here I have created a Zabbix user. I set a password, select a secure password, that's obvious, right? Then you set the permission to your Zabbix server because I just limited the access to my AMI user from my Zabbix server IP address. That's important, so take care of that. And then you need to connect to your Asterisk manager and reload your manager. So if I connect here, I have already done this configuration. Just let me show it to you. So let's go to etc asterisk, open the manager.conf. And as you can see in the general tab, I have enabled my AMI. And at the end of the file, you can see I have created a Zabbix user with the password and I allow access to my Zabbix server. And then you need to go to your Asterisk console and asterisk-r and then run manager reload. And if you want to see if your AMI user is created, you can use the manager show users, and you should be able to see that, okay, I have a Zabbix user for my managers, an AMI user, Zabbix. That's this part is done. The next step is to enable the Asterisk default HTTP server. In order to do that, you need to go to the etc asterisk and edit the http.conf and then enable this type of access. Let's just review that configuration as well. So in my etc asterisk, I'm editing my httpd.conf, and as you can see, I have put a server name. It can be anything. Then set enables to yes. By default, it's no. And then this bind IP address is the bind IP address of your Asterisk system. Look at here, my Asterisk IP address. Okay, IPPADR. My Asterisk IP address is ending with 156, and if you can check this configuration, the bind IP address is 156. So this is not the IP address of your Zabbix server, this is the IP address of your Asterisk box, because we want to enable the default HTTP server of the Asterisk. And also you can set a bind port. By default is 8088. That's fine for us. And then after you have changed this configuration, just reload your Asterisk. So asterisk-r reload. And to test if this is enabled or not, you can use the netstat command, netstat-na grep 8088. And okay, I don't have the netstats here. Let's install the netstats app, install nettools, and then run the command netstats-na grep 8088 and as you can see, it's listening on the port 8088. And if I, even for the testing, I can copy this address and then paste it here. And as you can see, it shows asterisk. Of course, nothing is found, but at least you can see it's enabled. That's it. That's for the asterisk configuration. The next step is the IP tables. So here, as you can see, of course, you need to know how to configure your firewall, but here is a command to open the access from my Zabbix server. Here I'm accepting all traffic for my Zabbix server. Then the Zabbix can connect to this web port and monitor your system. Last step is to add our Asterisk box to our Zabbix server. Log into your Zabbix server. This is usually your IP address /Zabbix. And then you can go to the data collection, hosts. And here we want to create a new host and set a host name. Let's use the same host name that we have set in our Zabbix agent. If you can recall, we set here, for example, I set asterisk server -1. The visible name, let's set the same. Here the template, you can select the template, then again select. We want to monitor two perspectives, operating system, and also when we want to monitor operating system, we want to use the Zabbix agent. So first select template operating system and then Linux by the Zabbix agent. It is selected. Again, we want to monitor our telephony system as well. So here we have a template for the telephony and asterisk by the HTTPD. So select both templates. A host group, this is just for your groups. You can create a host group later and add it there. I'm just installing the Linux servers. And here we want to add, you need to click add agent. And you need to set the IP address of your asterisk box. My IP server of asterisk box, I will set it here. And yeah, this is the default port that the asterisk agent is listening on. You don't need to change it. Then you need to go to the macros. In the macro, you need to select inherit and hosts macro. Here we need to set our asterisk AMI username and password. As you can see, the AMI secret by default is set to Zabbix. We are using different AMI password in my configuration. Here when we added the Zabbix username, I used this secret. This is the secret that I need to add here in a edit here and set it instead of AMI secret. So I will change here and set to the password that I have set. If you change that, then of course you need to change here to your password as well. And also another option that we need to set is the AMI URL. The AMI URL, as you can see, it has a guide that you need to point to your asterisk port 8088. This is the port that we have used for enabling the default HTTP server of the asterisk. So just change it. You can still copy here the same URL, change with the IP address of your asterisk box, port 8080, remove this asterisk, and of course the default was Roman. So that's it. That's the URL that you need to set. And that's okay. The AMI username, this is the username that we set for the AMI. I use Zabbix, so I don't need to change it. And that's it. Let's select add. And our asterisk server is added. It takes some time to load and connect to the Asterisk, to the Zabbix agent and connect to the process. So after some time, you will see this availability should be go to green, and then you can add your dashboard. So if you go to your dashboard, it's good to have it here. As you can see, we have now 2 available hosts, but you cannot see your asterisk box here. In order to do that, you can edit your dashboard and edit here, and then the hosts you need to select. Okay, by default, it's just showing the Zabbix server. I want to show the Linux servers and Zabbix servers, both of them, and also the hosts. I want to add asterisk server as well. In the Zabbix website or their YouTube channel, there are plenty of videos on how to configure the Zabbix. You need to watch them. And as you can see, our Zabbix, our asterisk server is here. Of course, it takes some time to review, to get the metrics, but let's save the changes so that we can see our asterisk box here. And if you click on the dashboard, you will see that, for example, this is the network information. If you go to the CPU performance, you can get the CPU usage, system load, memory usage. As you can see, it's starting generating data. And also, if you select your asterisk server and go to the graphs, then you can see we have asterisk specific metrics, for example, active calls, or asterisk active channels, or asterisk call processed. All of these commands are using actually the asterisk manager interface to connect to the asterisk and check what are these values and show in a graph. And of course, in the next step, you can set the alerts. For example, if I have more than 20 calls, then send an alert via email or SMS or, I don't know, Telegram channel or Teams or whatever you can configure in your alert system. This is very useful, especially to block the fraud attacks. At least you know you are under attack and someone is using your system. As you can see, you will see all the PJSIP endpoints, and also you can configure this module, because if you know the AMI commands, then you can add a check here manual as well. This is, of course, it takes some time, and you need to have the channels to monitor and see this information. That's it. This is how we monitor our asterisk system in the Zabbix. I hope this video is useful, and see you in the next video. Thank you.